And here we are at Hotel Indigo, getting to know personally number 24, Sibo Flemister, originally from Williamson, Georgia, who transferred from Notre Dame and came to the university 2022. And Sibo, Coach mentioned that screen pass score you had at Virginia Tech. You were determined to get to the end zone, because that was not a gimme. You worked that ball to the end zone.
Yes, sir.
Take us through that play.
So, basically, I mean, first play of the drive, and I know things haven't been coming easy for us the whole game. So, one thing I tell myself a lot is leave no doubt. So I know we get down closer, it's harder to score. The closer you get to the end zone, the harder it is to score. And I'm thinking to myself before the play, this is all before the play, that, hey, this is the one. Like, I'm going to take this one. So I get it. I set myself behind the guard. We go over the phasing all week in practice, so I know I'm not going to be too fast out. Get behind the guard, release, catch the ball, and I turn and I realize, hey, it's some space out here. And so I turn upfield, I cut back, and I'll tell you, like, it's really, when you're in the moment, everything's just happening so fast. It's basically just instincts and reaction. The biggest part for me was making sure I got to the right spot so he could get me the ball. And looking back on tape, I didn't even know that the corner blitzed. So, I mean, it was also just the perfect setup for me to take the ball. But anyway, I cut upfield, get vertical, and someone comes, I brace for a hit, and I realize I'm still up. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I see green grass. There's no way I'm not scoring here. And if you watch closely, I hit the sideline, and I'm looking forward, and then I realize, oh, let me take a peek inside. I peek inside, and I see Kanate coming on the field, blocking his man. So I'm like, okay, do I go up the sideline? Do I cut back? What do I do? So I look at him, and Coach Powell always has us working his pressure step, so I just jab step at him and get back over the sideline, pull my near leg away, and it was then from there, like, it was touchdown.
Man, and you did it right in front of your own bench, too.
Yes, sir.
With that cut move, and that electrified the whole team.
Yes, sir.
And then we get a defensive score, and boom, things can change in a hurry. Coaches always tell you, one play, next play. That was fun to watch, and I'm sure. So you have family watching you all the time?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you got hit up with the texts.
Family, friends, really my whole town from back home, Pike County. Small town. We don't really have many guys that do, well, we don't have any guys that do what I do. So, I mean, I always have a lot of support anytime I do anything. So
where is Williamson, Georgia, in reference to Atlanta?
Okay, so I tell everyone it's 50 minutes south of Atlanta, maybe 55. It's the first, Pike County is the county I'm from. We basically go by the county because, I mean, there's only 19,000 people, but it's a really big county, so everyone's spread out, right? And so we're 55 minutes south of Atlanta, the first county outside of the metropolitan area. So we're right where it starts to get extremely rural. So, I mean, it's pretty much, we're one high school county, maybe 2 private schools.
In the whole county?
In the whole county. And
so you're kind of like big man on campus.
Kind of.
So you went to Notre Dame.
Yes, sir.
And then what made you transfer? Take us through the process of working with Coach Narduzzi and the recruiting team to get to Pittsburgh.
I'll be honest with you. So I didn't put my name into the portal until the day before, the date closes. And then I want to say, from anyone who has experience with the portal, when you first put your name in, you're going to get a lot of just cold calls, a lot of people reaching out to you. So I kind of, went through that process. A few schools, good schools that I was actually interested in hit me up, but I kind of let it, die down a little bit to see who was really serious about it. And after that, I wanted to kind of get to every place. And I just remember when Pitt came and talking to Coach Powell, one of the first questions I asked him was where he's from. And once he told me South Carolina, I could hear it in his voice. So, like, that was my first connection that I really appreciated, just having someone that's from the South. And just I think that really helped a lot in the process. But just continuously talking to them, I'm not gonna lie. I went back and forth a lot.
He did.
I'll say, like, I pretty much told other schools, like another school, that I was committed, and then, you know, I kind of talked to them again, and just talking it through with him. I mean, he basically said, you think you want to make plays there or you want to make plays here, and it's like anywhere I wanted, I knew I'm not afraid of competition, so I wanted to go in, and I also at the back of my mind, I just knew I wanted to be near with players that I feel like are of my caliber of play. So I felt like Pitt was the best opportunity for that. Also, coming off of an ACC championship, you know, bringing back a very stout veteran line, all those things were extremely interesting. But I'm not gonna lie, just talking to Coach Narduzzi, talking to Coach Powell, it really helped me out a lot. They weren't trying to like downplay any other school or anything like that. But I mean, I just appreciate the honesty. I appreciate it. I mean, just coming my visit here, I appreciated just sitting in the office with him and talking to him. I felt like we were pretty like-minded in the way we approached the game and how we felt about the game. So, I mean, it wasn't that hard of a decision.
Sebo Flemister, good stuff. But I want to tell you, and when we come back, Sebo has the distinction, Coach, of having something I've never seen any other player obtain. We'll talk about that when we come back. Sebo, you're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And from the Hotel Indigo and Technology Drive here on the Mon River, right near the Hot Metal Bridge that goes to the south side, where the University of Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh Steelers share that great facility down there. Coach's special guest is Sebo Flemister. And Sebo, I teased that you are the only player I've ever known, who has a degree in anthropology. For people driving along right now going, anthropology, what exactly is that?
So basically, in the simplest definition, anthropology is the science of humanity. And basically that is it's just the study of humans and why do we do the things we do and how we've come to do them. It's the study of biological and physiological characteristics and just in a method to understanding our development over time, basically.
That's impressive. And also, because I don't know anyone who ever got a degree in anthropology. I'm a communications graduate, and I understand you're getting another major in communications from the University of Pittsburgh. So what do you want to do post-football?
So post-football, the only thing I've been able to narrow it down to is work with people. I'm a people person. I
can see that.
I love learning about people, which hence the anthropology degree. I love talking to people, and I love to, kind of share my story. And so I would love to work with people, whether that's football and with, just coaching or maybe TV. But anything where I get to kind of, let my personality come out a little bit and be able to talk to people and meet people, because, I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what this life is all about, is just the people you meet along the way on your journey. So,
well, Sebo, I know you're going to be successful no matter what you choose. You got that little sparkle. You see that, Coach? You saw that. That's why he's here.
There's no question about it. This guy he's an unbelievable, on the field and off the field. I mean, he's come a long way from his old Notre Dame days and some of the things he did there, that he told me when he got here. He has gotten so much better since he's been here from what I, didn't know of him in the past. But, the one thing I can tell about Sebo is he's got a motor. This guy, what you see on game day, he plays hard all the time. There's never, consistency, correct? Am I wrong? I mean, I talk all the time about consistency. Sebo's as consistent as a football player as we're going to see in practice any day. That's what he is. He's consistent. There's not a million of them, okay? There's not, I could say we maybe have a dozen guys that I could say are consistent every day. And that's pretty good. Coach. That's a fact.
I'm looking at your high school numbers. This is ridiculous. Rushed for 3,321 yards and 43 touchdowns. Man.
Yeah.
That's balling.
It was. I'll say this, though. Not to discredit anyone on my team, but our scheme was pretty much Sebo left, Sebo right. I want to say second round of playoff my senior year, I had 52 carries. So.
And for the other team, SIBO later. There he goes again.
SIBO later.
So while you're in Pittsburgh, what do you like about the university and the town when you're not focused on academics and athletics?
So for starters, I love the overall, just the ambiance of Pittsburgh. I feel like the city has a lot of character. So, and it's a very intimate city, you can get from any side of it in 15 minutes as long as there's not traffic. And I love all the bridges. I know that's maybe kind of cliche, but one of my favorite things is like riding over either hot metal or what is that, Birmingham
Bridge.
Yeah, I love riding over that at night and looking over and seeing the skyline a little bit. But outside of football, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really do much outside of football. That's why I love the facility so much and just coming in, because that's where I do most of my socializing, is in the facility. You know, I'll hang with some of the guys very, very rarely. Most of the time I'm at home, resting, rolling, stretching, you know, cooling, calming my mind down, because I realize over time, like, I don't want to burn myself out. As Coach says, thank you for saying I'm consistent. I try to be consistent, but with consistency, you can kind of get burnt out being consistent. So I have to remind myself to kind of, you know, just kick back a little bit, relax a little bit, let my mind just be at ease. And sometimes that's just sitting at home and not doing literally anything. So.
This university's been around since the 1700s. It's pretty amazing. And to play for the university, obviously you guys want to get a win here. Louisville's a very good team. What's your scouting report on their defense?
I think they are a very physical defense. I think they play really sound. They have some guys that like to stick their nose in there. They have a really aggressive D-line that's going to fire up the ball every time. As far as the perimeter, you know, it's hard for me, you know, scouting the perimeter because normally I'm not lined up against those guys, but from what I've seen, they're not afraid to stick their nose in there either. Me personally, a one-on-one with a DB is a win for me in my eyes. But anyway, I think their safeties come down and help a lot. Overall, I'd like to give them their respect and say that they are a very good defense and a very sound defense, and I am extremely excited to play against them and you know, go off.
You guys ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's been a real pleasure to get to know you a little better. I get to see you every game, and I've enjoyed watching you play. If you wouldn't mind replicating that touchdown run.
We'll try to do it a few
Saturday.
times.
Can you try to do that again?
Yes,
Let's hear it for SIBO Flemister, number 24, University of Pittsburgh.
Thanks for having me.
Really great stuff. And when we come back, we'll talk to Pat Bostic. We'll get his scouting report on Louisville. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Pat, good to see you again. By the way, I want Coach to know he spoke yesterday at the Dan McCann Coaches Luncheon for high school. Very inspirational. I was ready to run through the plate glass. No,
plate glass, interesting. I was blue vase in it, Larry. Blue vase. We got to get
Blue vase.
we got to get into this. This blue vase discussion on
social media.
Social media.
Wait a sec. So the social media blue vase.
So
are blue vases out there?
The blue vase is out there. So the blue vase that's in the facility.
Someone found out after 9 years.
Someone found out after 9 years. There's
What
a
have
lot
they
of
been doing?
speculation. Can we end the speculation? What is the blue vase?
Okay, the blue vase. Again, let me start where it came from. Okay, this blue vase really came from Jim Tressel. So if you probably asked Jim Tressel, Jim Tressel did it for years at Ohio State. We did it for 11 years at Cincinnati for 3 and Michigan State for 8 years. And it's a story. It's kind of a motivational story. John Aviantanos is a guy who lives out in Phoenix, Arizona, and he tells this story. He's in this video that we show our team we show them twice a year. Okay, this story, the blue vase.
Is he in a wigwam or where out there?
He's sitting on a couch with his arm on the thing. He's got a white, it looks like a dirty white dress shirt on, okay? And he's sitting with his legs crossed, and he tells this story about the blue vase, the story of the blue vase. And pretty much it's a story about a guy that will do whatever it takes to get the job done. And if it's up to me, I will get it done. And he goes through this whole thing, and again, I won't get into the weeds about it, but he does whatever it takes to get the job done. okay? And then at the end of the thing, he says, kind of goes, are you ready for kickoff? Okay, so it's kind of the opening. It's a Friday night. We played every Friday night before our opener. So we watched it before the Wofford game Friday night, and it's a little corny video, a little bit. It's a little corny because it's this old guy sitting there with his legs crossed. And everybody's, when you're a freshman or it's the first time, if you're a freshman, it's the first time you've ever heard it. You're going, what is this video? This is,
that's
you're not seeing it on Netflix, put it that way. But it's just, it's kind of like, are you ready for kickoff? And it is, and again, it comes down to, our kids talk about by any means, and we do it from every bowl game. Like when we're out at the bowl game, our kids made their own blue vase video. Okay, I mean, we could probably produce these videos. They made their own blue vase video. David Green and all these guys. Maurice French has done videos where they go around and talk about the blue vase and how they find the blue vase. Even the colonel, I wish I would remember his name. The colonel asked, "Hey, what is the blue vase?" It was unbelievable. I mean, the video we have on the blue vase for the Sun Bowl is incredible.
So
it's symbolic.
There's a blue vase in the lobby, and suddenly, after all these years, they noticed it, and they put it out on social media.
It hasn't been in the lobby forever. It was, matter of fact, the championship year, we had it in the lobby the entire year, okay? So I just kind of said, hey, let's put it out there just to remind those guys, find a way to get it done, okay? It's a whatever it takes. It's by any means. It's blue. Like even, Chris Fasawa, he laughs. Everybody in our office will laugh. And there's probably a blue vase in every room in our building. I mean, I've got probably 2 or 3 in my office. But if there's some impossible duty that needs to get done. Like Chris is like, hey, I can't do it. And what I'll say to him is blue vase it. That's kind of what the blue vase is.
There you go.
Whenever you tell me you can't get something done, blue vase it.
Well, that,
set the record straight here.
Hey, I'll tell you another quick story. Hey, when we go down to play Clemson in 2016, we always got some little gadgets. We gave every player on the team a
mini blue vase.
A mini blue vase. I'll bring my blue vase in front.
There you go.
I'll bring my mini. We brought a little blue vase. Everybody had that in their pocket before they left campus and went down. We're saying we'll find a way to get it done.
You might want to put a blue vase over your head on Saturday for that rain on the sideline.
That'd be good, man.
Yeah.
I embrace the rain. Here's my problem. I'm colorblind. I can't see the blue
Hey,
vase. But
you guys are talking about blue vases. Are we going to talk about Louisville? Or
Yeah,
what?
could we?
I thought,
Let's
we're
talk
talking
about
about blue vases.
Well, I figure we should set the record straight.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we
Pat.
set the record
That's
straight
good.
because there's a lot of speculation, and it's the only story about
Twitter.
this team that's been speculated about for the last 2 weeks. So
Is that right?
before we get to your scouting report,
our scouting report.
I know Coach actually looks forward to this.
Yeah,
even
I
if he
do
doesn't
like
tell you.
listening
It's like he's proctoring a test I'm taking. It's tough.
You might as well start with the offense because Sebo just gave the defense.
He did give the defense.
We don't need you for the defense.
All right, hold on.
We got to go to a break.
Yeah,
right?
we'll come right back, and we'll get the scouting report on Louisville.
Louisville.
That's how you say
Louisville.
it. Louisville. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. One of our highlights is to talk to Pat Bostic and get his scouting report with Coach here. He says it's like you're the proctor, a
He's the one that
professor.
actually knows the scouting report. I'm just making this stuff up.
Well,
No, you look. You know.
I know. I know. I don't know.
So-
I don't know like play tendencies to the percentage, but
all right, for those that don't know, the Cardinals are 6-0.
yep.
They're on an 8-game win streak. They come here beating Notre Dame. They caused Sam Hartman 3 picks, turnovers, and they kicked 4 field goals. So, but they found a way to win. So they come here flying high, Pat.
I think the thing that coach that jumps off to me is they play really hard. They play really hard on both sides. That the perimeter blocks on offense. They're physical on defense, no matter what coverage they're playing. Jeff Brom's done a good job taking that team, bringing some new blood in there. They've got a ton of transfers, but some returners from a year ago as well. And obviously they're playing, with a lot of confidence. But the thing that jumps out to me is how hard they play.
They play hard. They play hungry. I mean, they got some hungry guys on the field. I see, and again, whether it's a receiver or defensive end, you see toughness on the field when you watch them. You really do.
And their running back, Jordan, has 800-yard rushing games last 2 seasons.
Yeah, he's fast. I mean, Coach mentioned earlier in the week he looks like Izzy, and I can't help but see Izzy when he runs. He even carries it in his left hand like Izzy would. It's very.
And when I don't know if it's the running like it. You can look at that. I'm talking the burst and the speed.
Yeah.
He's got a different gear that most tailbacks don't have. He's an NFL tailback, and if you give him a seam, he's one of the guys that can take it to the house.
He
really
caught
can.
a seam against Notre Dame on
He's
the right
cut
sideline.
these screens. He's done it all. He's done it in every phase of the game. He ran I don't know what the heck. It was against Notre Dame. They were playing a lot of man free, and he ran a route. I don't know what he was doing. It was like he was shot out of a cannon. He wasn't even the guy getting the ball. I'm like, look at this dude. What is he doing? Like, he's the decoy, and he just ran an angle down the field, out of the backfield, hit the B gap, and just kept running. I'm like, looked like he was running to go get a milkshake or something out of the.
You got to account for him for sure.
Stands.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yes.
He's fast.
Let's talk about Louisville's big quarterback, Jack Plummer, 6'5", pro style, really talented. He's got a good arm.
He does. I mean, he's efficient. I think that's the biggest thing. When it's not there, he throws it away. Doesn't take unnecessary sacks. A couple teams have gotten his face in a little bit, and he's put it up, up for grabs. But he's got a lot of talent around him. Doesn't need to make a lot of big time down the field throws. They don't ask him to do that very often, and he understands that, and I think has embraced it. And his TD to INT ratio, even at Cal, was really good. So you have to find a way to get to him and force him to throw it away.
Yeah, he's 12 touchdowns, 6 picks, and you think Pat Bostic, this team comes walking in here feeling pretty cocky, good about themselves. I'm
sure they feel good about themselves, but I mean, I was watching Jeff Brom's press conference, and he made comment, alluded to a stat from Purdue. I want to say they beat 5 or 6 top 5 teams in his time there at Purdue, and so he's wary, obviously, of the letdown. But you know what? It really doesn't matter when you line up. You got to play. Got to go play, and I'm sure this is a team, obviously, that beat a ranked opponent. They want to stay ranked. They want to continue to progress in the ACC, and obviously the Panthers are in their way right now, so that's the biggest opportunity for them.
How about for the Panthers, quarterback change, first collegiate start for Christian Veyer, who verified his pronunciation.
Has that been confirmed?
This week.
That was confirmed. That was the big news out of the facility today, too. That and the blue vase.
That's what's so swirling around on social media. But I liked his demeanor. I liked how he handled the press today. And one of the things that stood out that he said, business as usual, through the process of finding out he was going to start, having this extra week to prepare as the starter, as a former quarterback going in when you know you're the guy. How much of a difference does that make?
Well, he's had an extra 5 days too, which is helpful. You can downplay it, but it is nice to know you're the guy. And going in there as a backup, down 11 in the second half is not an ideal situation against a team that was going to continue to pressure you to score points. But as long as you're giving secrets out from the facility, every time I walk by when he was backing up, he's watching film every day in the wide receiver room, watching film after practice, getting ready to go. This is prior to being named the starter. So when he says he's been preparing to play, he's been preparing to play as a starter, and this is his opportunity. We're going to find out what he's got, what we got, and it'll take all 11 on offense to win this game Saturday.
That said, Coach has a way of, his teams have a way of surprise. You're a dangerous football team, Coach, and I'm sure that's what they're preaching on the other side.
Yeah, we'll find out this week. This is an impressive football team, as Pat talked about, and we'll have our hands full for sure. I think it sticks out. One thing you didn't mention, Pat, in your breakdown there, the Braun brothers on offense do a great job game planning.
They do.
They will scheme you up, but I've never seen so many trick plays in my life.
Okay.
Like, this is a trick team. I mean, they got more reverse throwback flea flickers. You ever see the flea? You guys know what a flea flicker is,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tailback gets the ball, throws it back. They ran against Michigan when he was at Purdue, a fake flea flicker. Okay?
Fake flea
The tailback
flicker.
gets the ball. He pretends like he's pitching it back, and then he takes off running for about 30 yards. I'm like, come on, man. You can't. Like, it's unbelievable.
You got to coach them up.
Well, you got to be able to.
They got more high. They got all kinds of trick plays, and they do a good job. So we've worked more trick plays this week than maybe ever have.
But it comes down to fundamentals, right?
It comes down to fundamentals and eye control.
Yeah.
Okay. You got they do a lot of shifts in motion, try to get your eyes all over the place, and you miss what you need to see.
Got to tackle better this week, obviously.
No question.
It comes down to block and tackle. It'd be wet conditions, we think. It'd be hard to run those trick plays if it's a little bit wet out there. Hopefully that might help us a little bit.
Pat Bostic, we'll see you on the south side, and check out Pat's show 93.7 The Fan, Saturday mornings at 8. And when we come back, some final thoughts with Coach Pat Narduzzi, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Coach Narduzzi, final thought before homecoming Saturday against the Louisville Cardinals.
Hey, it's going to be a ball game. We got a great football team coming in here. Can't wait to see the Panther Pitt all fired up. Pitt fans might be a little wet Saturday night, but bring your rain gear, bring your energy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this football team is going to bring out on the field.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
And we want to thank our executive producer, P.J. Kamanchik, Amanda Soleil King, producing here at Hotel Indigo. And we thank the staff. They've been so good to us. Charlie Borges back at Master Control. And you've been listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.